89% of construction firms report a drop in productivity as temperatures rise, with the average site losing 4 to 6 hours of productive time per week due to heat. This loss translates into an estimated $5 billion in annual schedule overruns and associated morale costs across the industry. And furthermore, 59% of firms admit to having missed the project deadline specifically because of heat. Do you believe it?
That's a great excuse to have.
To have what?
I think great excuse to have.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. Yeah. So what is this app doing? Are they are helping to schedule the construction works due to or factoring the heat, right?
Workforce planning based on extremes of weather.
I don't know. I think the idea to me is very, very difficult to even think about implementing on construction site. I worked 2 years on construction sites back in Poland in one of the largest construction companies over there at that time, Skanska, and we worked in heat. But if you were to even think about delaying or moving the works that would have to happen just because there is 35 degrees on site, that wouldn't end well and sit well with the project schedule. So I'm actually scratching my head when I hear this, that management of a heat will boost the productivity or decrease the delays. I just can't see it working this way, because every time you will have 30 degrees on site, you will have people, oh, we can't do this, we can't do that because it's too hot. So I don't know. For someone who's been on site, I just can't see it working. If you know, it's I think it's a nice to have idea, but
I just want to get you on the record, Martin, because there's different ways to interpret your pushback here.
Mm-hmm.
Are you saying, hey, I cannot believe that the higher the temperature, the lower the body functions, and thus the productivity decreases, and it's all mental, and people don't want to work and find excuses like that? Or are you saying, hey, I don't believe that when heat is higher, the project is delayed because of it, because if it's not delayed by that, it's another reason. And so there will always be a next bottleneck in the project. So saying what they say here, hey, it's 5 billion in delays because of heat, is actually stupid, because it would have been another reason for the same delay later down the line. Which of the two are you saying?
More towards the second one. Yeah, I think that, you know, if like heat has been on this planet has always been, right? So, and people has always been building it. There are ways to mitigate the heat, and you know, people manage it on site by, you know, providing lots of water, shelter, or having more people doing the same activity. So there are ways to mitigate it. But what I can't see is, we are not going to do this particular sequence of works right now because it's 32 degrees, and I just can't see how this is going to improve the productivity on sites or reduce the delays. It's completely counterintuitive. And with weather as it can be predicted, like who would have predicted that in England in the last 5 weeks we will have such a beautiful weather, 32 degrees?
Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, I just don't buy this idea. That's my take, really.
So if it's closer to the second point, then I couldn't prove it, but I have some. I would understand why someone says that. If it's not this reason for a delay, it will be another reason for the delay. You know, it's basically bottleneck theory, right? So if you remove one bottleneck, the next bottleneck becomes the bottleneck. So yeah. I would have a sympathy for someone saying that on a let's say meta level. If you had said the former, then I would have slightly different reactions. I mean, there's reasons why peak performance among the most well-trained people on the planet, like top performing athletes, is different when they play in 35 degrees versus when they play in 25 degrees. There is a proven difference in that. It might also be the same reason why the further near the equator you go, the less productivity you will typically find historically. There will be less infrastructure, less buildings, maybe there will be less farms, etc. It becomes really,
Yeah,
and so
I completely agree with that. Yeah, completely agree with that. I just think that it's just another excuse that things cannot be done, and what it will end up happening is that the schedules will be delayed and it will be overextended because of implementation of these things. I think construction is a tough business, especially for those who work on site and those who manage on site, and there should be ways for them to mitigate this heat, but things need to keep moving on, because I think this is one of the things that we can have in the Western world, that we can keep making up this kind of stuff, and this it is just another excuse not to do things, rather than find ways to get things done smarter, and risking less people, or risking less human resources who are subject to heat.